Hello and welcome to the Akashic Love Field. I'm Jen Deshen, jendeshen.com, your host. I channel the Akashic Love Field, and I'm also a human being with human behaviors, human uh, experiences. And I think this is really important that we understand, especially now that the spiritual landscape of how we've looked at things, at people. Oh, this person is um, you know, special because they have this knowledge or this wisdom, or they've created this book or this painting or this something or other, this body of work, that somehow they are separate from other humans. And I don't think that's a healthy way to look at it because we can all channel things, we can all bring things into being as part of our soul purpose, as part of our gifts and talents. That doesn't make us a good person or bad person or anything. It just makes us human, and finding the way through our spiritual journey can be the challenge. And it has been a challenge. And in the past, the way we looked at the challenge or the way we held the challenge and how we operated, certainly for many centuries, was under the patriarchy. So the patriarchal system us that we are obedient to and loyal to this person, this belief, this thing that says, give me your loyalty, give me your obedience, give me your power, and I'll take care of everything. And you just kind of take it easy. Maybe you have a little course or a little something you care about, and you can go and, put your attention there. But don't worry, you can go shopping, you can go and have causes, but I'll be taking care of everything because you're less than me, right? And as this thing dissolves and dissipates, we're in the in-between. And this in-between, as we are now in the weeds of creating a new reality, this in-between is asking us to change how we respond to the world. To create a new reality, we have to change how we are behaving towards one another, what we're telling ourselves about what is true, and what things mean. Let me give you an example. So, this past weekend, I was away with some friends, some amazing women, doing this little retreat, like a mini retreat, where we were connecting to things we care about and talking about how we help ourselves to move through the challenges that we have in change, right? Changing who we are, behaviors, so we become more self-centered. And when I say self-centered, I mean that in the most divine way, that we are filled with ourselves, right? That we are full of ourselves instead of being full of other people's stories, beliefs, demands. We fill ourselves with what is true. And it struck me when I was there about how each of us interprets words and expressions and things very differently. And sometimes we would have these, well, I'm curious, like, oh, you say this word doesn't resonate, like, don't you have this experience or something? I get very curious and I want to go down those rabbit holes, but and then somebody would come in and go, okay, well, just choose whatever you want to do, which is, I agree with that, right? We should all choose what we want to do. But I'm always curious. I want to go further into exploring what people think and what words they use to express that. Because at the end of the day, we have to be so vulnerable and we have to be so full of ourselves that we don't get filled with other stuff. Because I think as part of our training, growing through for thousands of years this patriarchal system, we've learned certain behaviors, and some of those behaviors are about pleasing others, right? Saving others, pleasing others, doing things to stay in the system. If I please you, if I do what you want, you won't kick me out. And, for many of us, that's a major, major threat to be kicked out of the collective. Some people attribute it to the days when we were in the caves and we needed each other to survive. So we had to behave, right? And that just kind of kept us going. And the amygdala it still has this pressure to save us, this desire to do anything to be safe in the group. As we move through this change, our behavior about being safe has to change. So before I left, I saw something. I'm on Substack. I don't follow all the things, but I'm there. And I saw that Elizabeth Gilbert had done a interview with Glennon Doyle, right? And said, "Welcome to Substack." I didn't watch the interview, so I don't know what was said. I don't closely follow either of these women. I don't know them, so what I say about them is nothing personal. It's just they represent something. They represent strong, powerful women who have shared vulnerabilities, been truthful, influenced us, right? So they do impact us because they represent some form of leadership or behavior of truth, right? Like, oh, I'm going to follow them. I'm going to be influenced by them because they carry this truth. And that's beautiful, right? It's beautiful to have people that have been successful enough to get our attention and make us realize, well, this is very typical how I feel as a woman. This is like, vulnerable. I can fall into people pleasing. Then I dare to do something different, etc., etc. So there's all of those things. And lots of people use those figures and their action as a way to kind of share their opinions about the world. So somebody on there, I read the thing. That's how I heard about it. Like I read something of a person I follow, and she was saying, well, this is disappointing. Glennon Doyle coming here and just bringing her 20,000 followers. All of a sudden, she's like famous on Substack, and all the rest of us are just writing here, and this isn't how Substack works, right? And she was presenting a way that she had wished Glennon had arrived, softly creeping in or whatever. It doesn't really matter what she said. She had an opinion about it. And I don't know what else happened. Maybe people said nasty things. Oh, yeah, we don't want her here, blah, blah. I don't know, right? I'm just saying my experience of what I saw from the little interaction that I had. And I talk about this because this is so important. As women, as humans going through change, and we understand the dynamics of this. Right. So apparently, when I came back from my weekend and I was just scrolling last night through Substack, I saw somebody had written like a love letter to Glennon Doyle, like, yeah, we want you here. We love you. How dare those people say those horrible things? I didn't read the whole thing. I just kind of skimmed it. But and then, other people started writing articles about it and saying, we're not like those women. What's the matter with them? They're so acting from a place of lack and they don't want to share the space. And we love the idea of sharing the space and what it's going to bring us. And apparently, Glennon Doyle had left Substack or retreated or cut, deleted all her followers or whatever it was. I'm not quite sure. And I'm making an assumption that she did it because she was shocked by her by the reception she got. Here I'm coming, my friend's inviting me. Yay, I'm so excited. I'm coming to this new place. And all my followers, I'm going to bring them with me. And then all the people there are saying all these horrible things about me, or it seems like they're saying horrible things because I think we often interpret what people are saying when they're giving their opinion as if it's a negative against us. Like in the case of someone who's famous, people use their fame, their iconography. So their knownness, so they are an icon of some kind, as a way of expressing their opinions. And we get confused thinking they're talking about the person. And some of them may be talking about the person. Some of them may want to say nasty things. Oh, well, here's my chance to say nasty things. And then the people who are writing the nice things, I read one or two skims, a couple of those just to get the gist of what they were saying, because I like to get the full picture, right? I don't want to just take one side or the other. That doesn't work with where I'm coming from. I got to look at all sides to kind of decide what's true for me. And I'm very appreciative that these people are doing these things so I can see what's happening in the world. And, for all of us, these are opportunities for us to really see who we are and how we operate. So one of the women, and unfortunately, I don't remember all their names, and I don't think that it necessarily matters, but not that I want to dismiss them, right? They are important and worthy of note in their own way. But I'm looking at the broader picture. So one of the women had posted that Glennon Doyle had written this quote that I don't want to go places or I don't stay places where I'm not welcome. And people were like, yeah, getting on with all of this. I feel sad when I read that because what are we really saying? Right? When I take a step back, what are we really saying? We're saying that people are not allowed to say what is true for them. So we don't want people to tell the truth when their truth is upsetting to us. In other words, I don't want anyone to say anything horrible about me because, well, I'm not famous, right? But if I was famous and I said, well, I don't want any, or my whole community or my friends who knew me were saying, some of them were saying horrible things, or I interpret them to be horrible. But really, it's nothing about, it wouldn't be about me. And in this case, I don't think it is about Glennon Doyle per se. It's about what she represents. And when she chooses to go, oh, these people are upset that I'm here, let me withdraw. It might appear that you're doing an act of kindness, right? But it really is a people-pleasing response. Like, I'm doing it because I don't want to upset anyone. And then the other people come and go, oh, you're so nasty. And not everyone agrees with them. There are a few people going, no, I don't agree with what you're saying. That isn't how I read it. At the end of the day, why are we afraid of other people's truth? Like their truth is not going to be our truth. If I've learned one thing in this time that I've been on this journey in the last few years, the last 10, 12, 15 years, where I'm somebody who believes in absolutes or has to a certain degree. This is the point of truth and how does it all figure out? And realizing that, wow, the way I see things and what I believe to be true and fair is people don't agree with me because they're looking at different stuff. They're using a different reference point. So while I don't know the reason for Glennon Doyle's retreat from Substack, um, I'm making assumptions because I'm looking at the bigger picture, at what the story says, right? And it really, I don't want to say she's irrelevant, but her iconography is what is important in the story I'm telling, not her personality. What she represents to us, right? Somebody who has fame and coming into a place where there are a lot of people who don't have fame and sort of just jumping in the middle, and everyone's like, I'm on the edge of the pool and I wanted to be in the middle. Now you've made a big splash and I can't get to the middle, whatever, right? I don't know exactly what other people are saying. What's relevant is that they're sharing what's true for them, and that's powerful. And it takes guts to share unpopular opinions, especially when we know we might get called out. And maybe some people are shit stirrers and they're calling things out because they want attention. I don't know. We all have that. We all want attention, but we only want the attention in a certain way. And I didn't read her initial article did not come across as unkind or nasty or anything. Maybe there were lots of other nastiness, but it's all interpretation, right? Like I hear somebody saying something and I have a certain filter. And so when I receive it, I'm going to interpret it. Oh, that was nasty. That was mean. And then these people coming back, these women coming back, mostly women, saying this isn't how we behave. You're so full of lack. And it's like, so they are, I say we, because we all do this, attacking the people that chose to tell what was true for them, for whatever reason, whether they told it because they wanted attention, or they told it because they actually feel a sense of lack or scarcity, or because they were giving a point of view about how this has changed the algorithm, if you will, the experience. And then I'm like, well, these women coming, and I think it's great. They welcome Doyle and say, yeah, we're not all like that, right? That's great. But when they start to attack the people who dared to give their opinion, I think that's when we enter dangerous territory. Because right now, the experience we're having and what we experience through the patriarchy is this idea that there's only one way to do anything and there's only one way to think about things. And when we collectively attack people who are, don't have the right spiritual attitude or, are full of lack, or we're deciding what it is that what they're saying, our interpretation, which we can do, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But we're using it as a way to beat them down, right? So those women who are doing that are doing exactly what they're saying the other group is doing. I don't know if the other group is. Maybe there were some people, like I said. So their behavior is exactly the same. They're just using different words because they're on different sides. And when we look at the world, this is where we have our biggest issue, because some of us believe one thing and some of us believe another. And some of us are kind of in the middle, right, about many issues. So we can see this, this kind of rhetoric and even action on what we call the right and the left in politics, for example. Oh, this person is very extreme and they don't like immigrants or whatever. And then we have the other side that, oh, they love immigrants. And then you have people in the middle going, but there are issues around these things. We need better rules. So there's all these different things. But what gets lost is this idea that everyone should shut up because I don't like what you're saying, right? I don't like what you're saying, so I'm going to leave the room. I'm not welcome here. I'm leaving. As a woman, as future leaders, as present leaders, as people that are creating the new world reality, we cannot afford to leave the room. Now, I'm not talking to Glennon Doyle. She has the right to do whatever she does, just as you do. But I hope I can reach those of you who are willing to hear what I'm saying. We cannot walk out of the room because the room feels like people don't want us here. This is the old story. This is the people-pleasing story. This is the patriarchal behavior. I'm not wanted. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to make my own group. We're all in this together. So, yes, we don't necessarily want to hang around with people who are bitching and moaning about us and what we're doing. On the other hand, they cannot be the ones that push us out the door because they have a different opinion. What an incredible opportunity to engage with the woman that say the things that feel like you don't belong here. I don't like who you are. There's an opportunity here to open the door and go, okay, so you feel like I don't have the right to express my opinion? Well, let me tell you why I do have the right to express my opinion, and you don't need to be part of this conversation, or you can be. Or you just come in and you do your thing and you don't address those people. It's like whatever you decide. But is it a smart choice to leave the room? Now, let me just put here, like I said, I'm not talking to Glennon Doyle. I don't know her. I don't know the reason what she did and the whole story. I'm not privy to all of those things. So I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but I'm using this as a moment to share something really important for all of us as women, that we have been the ones who have taken on the roles of, and we maintain the system. It is the actions of women that run the world. Women are always in the background, making sure things are happening and moving. And many of us have been doing it according to the patriarchal rules. And many of those patriarchal rules are about silencing dissidents and forcing women out of the rooms. We cannot go out of the room. We cannot be silent. We can choose who we want to talk to and how we will be talked to, what we give our attention to. But we cannot choose what others will say about us. See, this is where the weakness is, that we're spending a lot of time telling other people how wrong they are about what they're doing. How dare they have that opinion? When if we do believe, as I do, that this is an opportunity, a growth opportunity. So all I can say is thank you to Glennon Doyle for this, for bringing herself and daring to be part of it, and to the woman on the left of it and the right of it who have spoken out, so we can really see the beauty of this example and really understand that how the behavior and our choices and what we tell ourselves, you're rejecting me, therefore I'm leaving the room, or I'm not going to let you speak that way about somebody I care about. It's all good. Like we can have these rules, right? But we don't have command over others. We have command over how we choose to show up, what we choose to say, how we present ourselves. But we spend all that energy telling other people how to behave, to get back in their box, or that this is who they are and this is what they meant when we don't know. We're going to waste a lot of energy. And not only are we going to waste a lot of energy, we're going to recreate the reality we've lived in and have said we want to leave. This is our moment right now to leave this old reality behind by beginning to weave something new, by going, you know what, I don't agree with these people, but I can't shut them up. But I'm not going to let them push me out of the room either. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know. You can find me on Substack under jendishen.com. Oh, Jendishen, sorry, Jendishen. Find me on Substack on my website, and I'll see you soon.